So we are on chapter 13 now, and with this chapter we are starting to do our sixes, and it starts us off with skip counting by 6. And when you skip count, just like how we've done before, you do 6, you start with 6, and then you add 6 more. So 6, let me get a different marker, this one's not working. So then 6 plus 6 is what's going to give us the next number, which is 12. And then we add another plus 6, and that will give us the 18. And then another plus 6, and that will give us 24, and so forth. So you just keep adding the 6s. And when you get all of your numbers, you just fill them in over here. And you don't have to fill in all of this part. You just skip count, only the lines. So fill those in, and then you do it again at the bottom. This is all to just give you the practice of skip counting by 6s. And with 6s, it's a lot of just memorization as well. There is a pattern of, if you look at the pattern, it's always 2, 8, 4, 0, and then over here, and then 6. Okay, so it will keep going 2, 8, 4, 0, 6, 2, 8. So, or you can even start 6, 2, 8, 4, 0, 6, 2, because after 36 is going to be 42. So 6, 2, 8, 4, 0, 6, 2. So you know that when you're skip counting by 6s, your number is never going to be an odd number, and it will always be even, and it will always end in one of these. Okay, so some of the questions here, this would be more skip counting. So you just fill those in so that you can have extra practice. And then up here, it tells us to fill in the blanks of the numerators and denominators to make the equivalent fractions. So here, you fill in the top number with the shaded portion, okay, and then you fill in the bottom with the total amount of pieces. So these are 2 pieces, and there's only 1 shaded, so that's 1/2. So then the next one would be, there's 2 shaded blocks, and then there are 4 in total, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's, bottom's always going to be the total, and the top will always be the parts. Okay, so then over here, scoot over a little, and over here it shows 3 of them that are shaded. So we put 3 at the top, and it's just double that, so 6 at the bottom. Okay, so that's how you do this one and this one, 4 and 5. And then over here on number 6, here at the bottom, it says Rowena painted 3 paintings a week for 6 weeks. How many paintings did she paint altogether? So 3 paintings a week for 6 weeks. That would be 18 paintings. Okay. And then there's number 7. It says the preschool class had 8 children. Each child ate 6 crackers. How many crackers were eaten? So that would be 8 times 6. And something I like to do when someone's having a hard time figuring out and just starting to learn their 6s, is if you know what 8 times 5 is, you know that that equals 40, because we've worked on those a lot. Then one more group, because remember, when we do multiplication, it's 5 groups of 8 or 8 groups of 5. This multiplication sign means groups of as well. So over here we have 6 groups of 8, but over here we have 5 groups of 8. So if we know that's 40, and we're just going to add one more group to get to 6, from 5 to 6 is one more group of 8, then it would just be 40 plus 8, which is 48. So whenever you have anything times 5, you can do that. Also times 10, you can also subtract 1 to get the 9. So you can do things like that when you're not sure. You just find the 5 first, and with the 6 you can do that with any of them. You can have 7 times 6 equals, and then if you know 7 times 5 is 35, and you know that that's 5 groups of 7, then 6 groups of 7 is just one more group. From 5 to 6 is one more group of 7, so you add that group of 7 and it gives you 42. Okay, so you can do that with your 6s. If you're ever struggling, then that's a good way to make sure you get the correct answer, just by using your 5s and adding one more group of whatever number is being multiplied by 6. Okay. Lesson 13b, it starts off with some more skip counting by 6. The skip counting is very important because it helps you just learn your 6s better. Okay, so here we have some more of the fractions, more skip counting, more fractions, and then over here we have a little bit more skip counting of fractions, and then we have a lot of review. Okay, and here's some add and subtract 2 digits, and I do want to do these because I still have students struggling with this, and I know that it's a multiplication class, not an addition class or subtraction class, but I do want students to get this down. So if you have 54 minus 25, then this means 4 minus 5. In that order, 4 minus 5, because it's 54 minus 25. So we read from the top to bottom, okay? And that's important because a lot of times kids will say, in their mind, they'll do 5 minus 4, and they'll just put a 1 here. And that's incorrect, okay? So that's the reason that I always say we subtract, we have to read the problem 54 minus 25. So if we read it that way, then we know that when we're going to subtract one column at a time, we do the ones first, and we start from the top, just like we did when we read the problem, and we said 54 minus 25. We did not say 25 minus 54. We started with the top number, and then we subtracted the lower number. So we'll do the same thing as we're doing the ones and the tens separately. So we'll do 4 minus 5. We'll start from the top, just like we did when we did the entire number. So 4 minus 5 is not something that can be done, because if you only have 4 things and someone needs 5 to complete a task, there's no way that you can give them everything they need. So you cannot. So that's why I always say the little story, and I say, okay, excuse me, can I borrow 5 things? I only have 4. I don't have enough. Let me ask my other neighbor and see if they have some. Okay, this neighbor does, so we take one of the 10s away. This is 4 10s, and the 10 comes here, because 4 plus a 10 is 14. So that's how we get that. Okay, we borrowed a 10. That's why it goes in front. That's why it's 14. Okay, and then because I've seen a lot of kids also make it 41. So that's why I'm speaking about that. So 14 minus 5 would be 9. Okay. And then 4 minus 2 is 2. So that would be the answer there. Okay. Do the next one. The next one is 88 minus 19. Okay. And that one is the same thing. The top number, remember we do 88 minus 19. Not 19 minus 88, that's not how we say it. We say 88 minus 19. So then we'll do 8, we'll start from the top just like we did at the beginning. We'll do 8 minus 9. Okay? We can't do that because 9, the person at the bottom cannot take 8 from the top because there is not enough. There is not enough to give. Sorry, I said it the wrong way. The person at the bottom cannot take 9 items from the person at the top because this person only has 8 items and this person needs 9. So this person wants to help really badly. They say, I will help, I will ask my neighbor. So let me borrow 110 from this neighbor. Okay, and the 10 goes in front because 10, that's what we borrowed from here. We borrowed 110, which is 10, and 10 plus 8 is 18. So now we have 18 here. And 18 minus 9 is 9. And we know that because we know our doubles are 9 plus 9 equals 18. So we know our doubles. So we know if we take one of these 9s away from the 18, we have another 9 left over. Okay, so we have 7 minus 1, which is 6. And that's the answer to that one. Okay. So I would encourage parents actually to, when when your student has any homework like this that has any subtraction, just go back and check their subtraction answers to make sure that they're getting them correct and that they're not incorrectly doing 9 minus 8 or 5 minus 4 and putting a 1 here, because that's been happening quite often. Or that when they subtract and take the 10 away, that they put it in front and not in the back, and that they actually cross out that 8 and put the new number on the top of the 10's place, because then what they'll do sometimes is they'll move over the 10 and make this 18, and they'll do this subtraction correct, but then when they get here they'll say 8 minus 1 because they never crossed out the 8 and put the new 7. Okay, so those are just things to look out for. Okay. Okay, the next one that I want to go over is perimeter. So we've been working a lot with area so far, and over here on the quick review, and I do want the students to do the quick review. I know a lot of kids have told me, oh, my mom said I don't have to do the quick review. I do want the quick review to be done. Okay, so perimeter, perimeter is a new topic that we learned on Monday. And perimeter is just adding all of the sides. So for example, for number 15, it shows a little rectangle like this, and it says 9 here, 5 here, 9 here, and 5 here. So let me move this 9 in the middle. Okay, so to find the perimeter is not the same as finding the area. The area, we would just take the length times the width and multiply. So the area would be 45 because 9 times 5 is 45. But perimeter is adding all the sides. So it would look like this: 9 plus 9 plus 5 plus 5. Okay? And then when we do it like this, I always like to do 2 numbers at a time. That's how my brain works to add. So 9 plus 9, if you know your doubles, you know that's 18. And then 5 plus 5, same thing, we know our doubles, that's 10. So then 18 plus 10, we know we're just adding a 10 because there's no ones here. So that's just, we add the two ones because those are the 2 10s, and that's a 2. And then the 8 plus no ones is just 8. So 28 is the perimeter. So you're just adding all of the sides. all of these. Okay. And that's how you would do it for the rest of the problems. There's also, over here, there's a few word problems. This one says, let me move the camera a little bit. That. Good. Okay, so it says Jeff has a square garden which measures 25 feet on one side, on a side. Okay. How many fenced feet does he need to enclose his garden? Okay, so we know that a square has all equal sides. So if they give you one side and every single side is the same, then we have all the sides. Okay, and it says how many feet of fence does he need to enclose his garden? To enclose, that's just the fence that's going to be all around the garden. And when it's only the part on the outside, that's when it's perimeter. Area would be the outside plus all of the inside, but that is not what perimeter is. Perimeter is not the inside, it's just the outside. So anytime that you read a question and it's telling you anything about like this, it says to enclose his garden, you know that he's just enclosing his garden. He's not just putting fence all through the middle of the garden, because that would be crazy. You just want to close up the garden so that, you know, no pests or anything get inside the garden and it can be secure. So you know, okay, well that's only the outside. And if it's only the outside, then it's perimeter. And I told the students as well, if you know anything about quarters and how much a quarter is, then this is very easy to add up, because 4 quarters, 1, 2, 3, 4, equal $1, and $1 equals 100 cents. So it's 100. So 25 plus 25 plus 25 plus 25. That's how we find the perimeter, and that is 100. Okay, we move on to number 19 on page 182 still. And it says each bird laid 6 eggs in its nest. There were 6 birds. How many eggs were in all the nest? Okay, so each bird laid 6 eggs, and there were 6 birds. So that one is not a perimeter question, it's just a multiplication one. So 6 birds, 6 eggs each, 36. Now remember, if we don't know how to do this, we know that 6 times 5 equals 30, and then we just add one more group of 6, because this is 5 groups of 6. This is 6 groups of 6, so it's one more group to get to that. So we add that extra group of 6 right here, and it gives us 36 for this question, for that. Okay. Okay, and then we'll move on to the next one. It says, number 20 says, Molly bought 6 yards of fabric, okay, for curtains. How many feet of fabric did she buy? Okay, so these are the ones where you just use your measurements. So if you have 6 yards of fabric, in order to convert it into feet, you have to figure out how many feet is in the yard, which is 3. Okay, so that would be 18 feet. That's how much she bought. Okay, and that's because we have the 6 yards of fabric that is given to us. We have we know that 1 yard equals 3 feet, and so that's where we get our numbers, the 3 yards and the 3 feet that each yard equals. So then our answer is 18 feet. Okay, let me see if there's anything else that needs to be reviewed. Here's some more subtraction, and I want to do these because, as many of these as I can, just because I want students to really get these concepts. So 76 minus 38. Okay, so what do? The top is less than the bottom number. So we know that we can't subtract this many from this number because this one's smaller. So the top number is smaller, so we can't give the bottom number what they want. So we have to go borrow from our neighbor. That becomes a 6, okay, because we're taking 1 10 away. 10 goes in the front, making that a 16. We know that 8 plus 8 equals 16. Those are our doubles, and that's how we can do 16 minus 8 fairly quickly, because 2 8s equal a 16. So when you take one of the 8s away, you're left with another 8. Okay, 6 minus 3 is 3. That's also another double. So our answer is 38. And then we'll do the next one. The next one is 93 minus 44. Okay, and we'll do the same thing. The number on top is smaller, so it cannot give this bottom number what it wants. It wants 4. He only has 3. So he has to go to his next door neighbor and he has to ask for a 10. That 10 goes in the front. 13 minus 4 is 9. And then 8 minus 4 is 4. So that's 49. And yep, that's how you do that. Okay, let me see. Okay, F. There's 2 more over here by F, and I'll do those as well. And that is 48 minus 27. Okay, that one's easy because the bottom number is smaller. Oh, and that's another thing that I do want to go over. I'll actually do this one because sometimes what happens is students are so used to borrowing, they get the borrowing part, so then they're like, oh my gosh, I have the borrowing part down. Here's the subtraction problem. Let me borrow. And then they borrow when they don't have to. Okay, so don't borrow unless you have to. You always have to look at your problem first and see, wait, this one's saying 8 minus 7. Can this number at the top give this number 7? Yes, we can, because we have 8, which is more than 7. So 8 minus 7 actually gives us the 1. Okay, and then we do 4 minus 2, and that's 2. So then that's our answer, is 21. And then the next one here is 53 minus 19. And 53 minus 19, okay, now our top number is smaller than the bottom number. So this guy only has 3, but this guy down here wants to borrow 9. But we don't have enough. We can't give them 9. So we have to borrow. Okay, and we borrow because the number on top, because the problem is 3 minus 9. Okay, and that we cannot give that. And it's important to say 3 minus 9, not 9 minus 3. We're not working backwards and from the bottom up. We are working from the top down. Okay, so we take 110 here. This becomes a 4, and we bring that 10 over, and that's a 13. Okay, and 13 minus 9 is 4, and 4 minus 1 is 3. So that's our answer there. Okay, and that's all for this chapter. Thank you guys.